I will be collabing with another political YouTuber, Elections and Politics. You may know him. Link to this channel will be in the description as well. And we will be sharing our views on certain topics today. It's going to be similar to a debate, not really a debate, very similar though, but not necessarily a debate. I wouldn't call it a debate. And we're going to be sharing our perspectives and opinions and our positions on some of the current issues going on right now, whether it's gun control, whether it's abortion, because if you actually do not know, the Supreme Court will be making the ruling to Roe v. Wade, I believe, next week or 2 weeks from now, early June, very soon. So, elections and politics, if you want to introduce yourself, go ahead. And the first issue we're going to be talking about is gun control. Elections and politics. Tell us your stance on gun control. Go ahead.
I'm very anti-gun control. I think if you looked at some of my recent tweets, you would see that. Look at the places that have the highest, the strictest gun. If we look at the stats, we can easily see that gun control is ineffective. I do, however, support limited background checks. But sometimes I feel that governments just use background checks as a way to delay people from getting a gun and discourage them. And if there are background checks, it should be done within a few days max. Hopefully, the background checks should at max maybe around a day.
Okay, so thank you for sharing your stance on gun control, and I have a similar stance to your stance. Not about the background checks, but about if you actually take a look at certain states that do not allow guns. New York, California, those states have higher crime rates, higher shooting rates than states that allow guns. And you can take a look at statistics, and most or a lot of those show you that where other states that don't allow guns have more deaths with gun violence than other states without guns. So that kind of shows you that guns are not the problem here. And what Greg Abbott said, it is a mental health issue. And now Democrats are attacking him for saying mental health. Mental health is not the issue. It is guns. No, it's not. Guns are not the issue. You think guns themselves can go to a school and shoot. It's the people who take these guns. People with mental health illnesses. Just like the shooter in Uvalde. He had a mental illness. People with mental illnesses may not be allowed to carry a gun at all until they do not have a mental illness. So, if I was in charge of this, if you have a mental illness, you do not have permission to be granted with an AR-15 nor any gun, not even a pistol. Mental illnesses are serious, and in my opinion, it is the mental illness fault. I agree with Greg Abbott. It's not guns. Guns can't go up to schools and shoot themselves. But yes, people with mental illnesses just cannot have guns. And one thing one thing I do disagree with elections and politics is that we do need background checks. I don't care how long it takes, we do need background checks because things like these, we need background checks because without background checks, you'll have things like these, people with mental illnesses having guns. So that is my stance on gun control. I think we do need background checks no matter how long it will take. People with mental illnesses may not be granted permission to have any gun, and AR-15 should be restricted to who is allowed to have them. But when it comes to pistols, I believe anybody can have a pistol. But it still should require background checks. But yes, gun control is not the right way to do it. Gun control will not solve anything. What the Democrats propose, just like gun control, will not work. Because like I said, states with gun control, that you can't, states that would say do not allow guns, like Chicago and a lot of these blue states, most of them, I believe all of them actually, who do not allow you to carry an AR-15 or a lot of these guns out there with high capacity magazines, they have higher death rates with guns. They have higher gun violence than states that allow you to carry. So gun control is not the answer. Okay, the next thing we'll be moving on to, let's see, is abortion. We're going to be talking about abortion, like I said, because they are going to rule Roe v. Wade early June, I think, either next week or the week after. So we got to talk about this because it's the ruling on Roe v. Wade is coming up very soon, and elections in politics. Before we start with abortion, I just want to ask you, for the viewers who do not know you, which political party do you side with the most?
I mostly side with the Republican Party, but there are some areas. Well, no, not there are some areas. There's pretty much one area where I side with the Democrats, so I'm pretty much a Republican.
Okay. Okay. So more of a moderate Republican, I would say. Is that correct?
Moderate Republican, I don't think that fits it because while I did say I supported Democrats in one area, the area is just climate change, but everywhere else I'd consider myself not not moderate. I wouldn't consider myself moderate. Abortion, I think I would support a complete ban on. The only exceptions that I'd support are rape and incest. I mean, you can't just kill an innocent person's life. Even if it's our duty to defend lives, even if they can't defend themselves.
There is election and politics stance on abortion Roe v. Wade, and basically it was pretty short. Now we don't have too much time, so a lot of these things will be short too. But what I think about abortion is, starting at conception, abortion will not be allowed for most circumstances. When it comes to rape and all that stuff, when a woman's life, is at risk, yes, abortion could be taken. But I suggest, if you have been raped, abort the baby early. Don't abort it later on, if you are going to. Yes, if the woman's life is at risk, then yes, you are allowed to request an abortion. An abortion will be granted to you. But if you had rape, but your life is not at risk, you should not have the right to an abortion. But if a woman's right is at risk, I do believe she is allowed to receive an abortion in the early stages. Uh, Obviously, the woman, we don't want the woman dying. Uh, but only 1% of abortions are rape. If you guys did not know that, fun fact: only 1% of abortions are coming from rape. So majority of abortions should not be allowed, in my opinion, right at conception. Because in my opinion, you are ruining a human being's development. If you are going to kill a human being development from being fully developed, you you should be thrown in prison for it. It is completely murder. You are ruining a child's development of growing, and you are basically murdering the child. So, other than the 1% of rape, abortion should be illegal at all costs. But that 1%, okay, I see it if the woman's health is at risk. But like I said, majority of abortions, women just do it for fun. So that is my stance on abortion. And we're going to be moving on to the next topic, which is going to be illegal immigration, and elections with politics could be starting with that as well.
Well, illegal immigration is obviously a big problem in this country today, but on the solutions, there's actually a very limited stances. For example, most people like the border wall is good enough or will actually help because in the areas that the border wall has already been built, you can see that most of the times the illegal immigrants find a way to climb over the walls. They have these ladders. They have these. What I'm trying to say is the wall doesn't go far enough, and a lot of people think the solution to illegal immigration is very simple. It's not. You can't just build a wall and everyone stops. It does. The solution doesn't end there.
So that's elections and politics stance on illegal immigration. Now, when it comes to illegal immigration, uh, immigration reform is not the way to do. Amnesty is not the way to deal with illegal immigration. don't follow Hillary Clinton. Don't follow these other people, mainly Democrats. I don't want to bring up political parties, but mainly Democrats who think amnesty is the right decision for illegal immigration, who want open borders, because open borders will leave you another 9/11. If you do not know that, you should know that. Not only Mexicans are entering the border, not only illegals, but terrorists who are on the watch list from the FBI shouldn't even be allowed in this country can enter, and they have entered by opening up the borders, and that's what amnesty would give you. So no, it's not the right thing to do, and I do think the wall did help. Donald Trump's wall did help, and obviously with Biden being president, the wall isn't fully built. It's, I believe, mostly built, but the areas that it's not built, it is very weak. And I'm not saying we only need a wall. That is not true. A wall will not stop illegal immigration, because if you see, or illegal encounters from Mexico to the U.S. Because if you actually take a look, illegal immigrants are not coming in just from climbing the walls, coming in straight from the borders, but they have figured out other ways to cross America illegally. They went through they're going through sewers. There are footages and videos that are released that they found illegal immigrants, drug cartels in sewers and in tunnels. They are figuring different ways out. So not only a wall is not going to stop it fully, but a wall is going to help. So yes, I do stand with the wall, and I do not stand with amnesty, and I don't stand with open borders, like I mentioned earlier. Now, I do stand with the wall because the wall will slow down the illegal encounters, but it will not fully stop it. To fully stop it, that's going to be a little bit harder, but you have to know that not a wall itself is not going to fully stop it, because they have other ways besides climbing the wall or going straight through the open border to get in. Like I said, the news released a while back that they're going through tunnels, and they found a drug tunnel. So that's my stance on illegal immigration, and we're going to be moving on to ranked choice voting, which one of my viewers is actually very interested about it and wants me to talk about it a lot within my videos, and I have talked about ranked choice voting. So we're going to start off with elections and politics again for ranked choice voting.
Ranked choice voting, I'm pro ranked choice voting. A lot of Republicans are anti ranked choice voting. I don't know why, though. Like, a lot of these elections, I feel, are cost, and get mad at them. But if you want to solve this, let's go into ranked choice voting. The Republican Party gains a lot from ranked choice voting. They say elections will be longer, but actually, if we have the right voting system, it can actually be done almost instantly, considering the fact that we just program the voting machines, or, well, no, not voting machines, the people counting ballots. When they'll be counting the second choice and the first choice as well. So when the second choice goes to, we will have basically the same. It may take a little longer, but it won't be as much as people think. Maybe an hour longer to find our election results.
That it would take longer because obviously it's ranked choice voting. So basically, what ranked choice voting is, if what I think it is, let me know if I'm wrong, is if a candidate that you vote for drops out of a race, you are allowed to vote for your second option. And if that second option drops out of a race, you can vote for your third option. And it keeps going down the line like that. But now what we have of a system right now is, once you vote for a candidate, you will not be able to vote for any other candidate if that candidate loses. Like, if that candidate that you voted for loses right now, but with the system we have right now, your vote goes down the drain. And that's not what I like about the system. Like, I want the vote to actually, matter. So if my candidate would drop out, I would feel more, I would say, happy that I can vote again for, my second option. I just think multiple options are better. It might take longer, the process, but I just like, the second options. But people do argue, and I kind of do agree that some candidates may negatively affect some certain candidates, just like, for example, Alicia Murkowski from Alaska. So when it comes to ranked choice voting, I'm pretty mixed about it. I'm not fully pro ranked choice voting, but I'm not against it. But yes, I am very open to ranked choice voting, and I think in the future we should have ranked choice voting. I mean, it just makes sense. So the next topic we're going to be talking about is going to be Obamacare and the Obamacare Act, basically known as the Affordable Health Care Act.
I would support, or I do support, a full repeal of Obamacare. A lot of Republicans say repeal and replace. Well, I say just repeal. We shouldn't be replacing Obamacare. Obamacare is very radical and is our first step towards universal health care. Democrats themselves has said that this is a stepping stone. Well, Republicans need to do everything they can to get rid of Obamacare. We need to put them back. We need them at the disadvantage when they are trying to get America into socialized medicine. And a lot of Republicans, they only care about social issues, and they say the way to win is to a rhino if you think the Republican Party should move fiscally left, or if you think it should move socially left, if you think it should move left. Important issue, and even though it's not a social issue, fiscal issues matter just as much.
Or they want to, they want to go with the more socialized medicine, just how elections and politics said it. I agree. They like social, like socialist American politicians that are socialist, just like Bernie Sanders. They want to make our healthcare, more of like socialists, and I don't like that. And when it comes to replacing and appealing Obamacare, number one, repeal it. That's for sure. But when it comes to replacing it, I think, uh, it's arguably, you can argue that you should replace it, and there's many pros and cons about replacing it, but it does somehow benefit some people. A few million people. When it comes to 8 million people or 20 million people, they benefit from Obamacare. So you don't want to, I would say, remove it fully. Now, repealing it is you have to. It is not affordable. The name Affordable Healthcare Act is a false name. It is a false narrative. Obamacare is not affordable. It is not. You could be paying less for an average healthcare rather than Obamacare. And Obamacare will kill you in terms of tax. You're going to be have to paying so much taxes. Taxes is high when it comes to Obamacare. And what I would do is I would lower taxes. When it comes to repealing Obamacare, when I say repeal Obamacare, I would say lower taxes. That's one thing to repeal it. Lower the taxes. The tax cost is too much for people. And that is one negative impact for people with Obamacare. Now, it could benefit people. That's why I don't fully agree with replacing it. Now, repealing it is much needed. And we are going to close off this video within 10 minutes. And we're going to be moving on to the last question. Or last topic, which is sending aid to Ukraine while the border is not even being dealt with. Basically, that's what the Biden administration is doing.
Well, I think we're ignoring the fact that you can do both of them, can't you? Like there is a lot of waste going into our budget. If we account for that waste, reduce it, cut funding from other useless departments, and for example, a few useless departments being mainly one of them, Obamacare, great, you could defund it. A lot of things need to be defunded at this time, not the police, though. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that you can do both. We don't have to choose between protecting the border or sending aid to Ukraine. Both of these are very important issues, and I think we can cut funding from somewhere else, a place that doesn't need it, and put funding into an area, Ukraine, or the border. I mean, right now, we're acting like these are our only two options. That is only the choice because Joe Biden is the president. He won't take care of the border. I don't think we can really argue that Joe Biden is good, that we should cut off aid because let's be honest, even if he wasn't sending aid to Ukraine, he wouldn't be defending the border either. But if we had the choice, if we had the budget in control, it wouldn't make sense for us not to do both by cutting from other departments. There are lots of departments that can be cut from. Health.
With my last and final stance, which is sending aid to Ukraine while the border is not being dealt with. Now, if I was president, this would not have happened. Anyways, so basically, I agree. We could be doing both. And when Elections and Politics says cut funding off of some things that we don't even need, I never thought about that. That's a great idea. Cut funding. Let's not go into debt. Like sending money, aid to Ukraine worth of billions, not like 10 billion, not like 5 billion, like 40 billion. Yes, we do need to cut some funding. I agree. So yes, we could be doing both. Sending aid to the border, southwestern border, and aid to Ukraine. But if you had to do one, that's not going to work out. I want to do both. So, yes, that's my stance. And that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know. So now we're at the end of the video. Let us know who you stand with more, whether it's me or Elections and Politics, in the comment section down below. What do you think about the issues we just talked about? And Elections and Politics, if you do want to say something to close out the video, let me know.
This was a great video. I had fun being here. Thanks for inviting me. Make sure to subscribe to both of our channels.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe. His link will be in the description as well. And if you guys do want more collabs, request in the comment section down below, or go to Twitter and follow me on there, and you can easily message me if you want to do collab as well. Goodbye, everybody.